Guys, welcome back to the Athlete Special. This is going to be a fun one, a different type of video. You guys have been seeing a lot of workout stuff, but today, finally, I've rallied up the guys, and we're going to be doing a Q&A. You asked a bunch of questions to a bunch of the guys on the team, so all the guys are going to be answering in their segment, so let's get going on the Q&A.
As a Nantucket man, what was it like growing up on a yacht?
Rocky.
This is all rolling too. Highly requested on this. A lot of questions for Henry, so let's just dive right into it. So, have you ever run a marathon, or are you planning to?
That's a tough question. I think Danny, sometimes he hints at me being able to run a marathon, but being a miler, that just sounds like the most brutal thing ever. So right now, it's out of the cards for me, but I have nothing but respect for them because they're psychos.
What is the least confident you've been before a race?
I have a pretty good answer, and one popped into my mind. It was after college, senior year. I was going to the U.S. Championships, and my knee was absolutely f***ed. Yeah, I could barely run, and I was actually getting knee surgery 2 days later, so pretty much the least confident I've ever been, and halfway through the race I got kicked in the knee and almost collapsed, so that was not a great one for me.
Do you remember running against Spencer when you guys were younger?
I remember Spencer being from Connecticut, but I wouldn't say I remember any specific races between us.
That's a dig. Is cereal a soup?
The way Garrett eats it, yeah, but I would say it's more of a snack at this point.
What was your favorite bar at UVA?
Ooh, depends how rowdy you want to get. Trinity for those big nights. Coops with the older guys, they used to take us there, and then Trin 3, there's nothing quite like it. If anybody went to UVA, they'll know what I'm talking about.
When do you think you made your biggest jump in running, and what do you think was the main contributor to that improvement?
I would say my biggest jump came from college to being a pro. All the credit goes to our team and Danny. He has a great training philosophy. We do a lot of work. We do a lot of weight room work.
What happened to the dude with the funky form who was training with the Beast?
we had to leave him in Seattle. He's hopefully joining us for one of these other camps. Shout out Tim Lynn.
All right, Henry, thank you so much for being on. We got one more question for you. Who is your least favorite teammate on the Brooks Beast to train with, and your favorite to train with?
Oh my gosh, this is one that puts you in hot water. So I'm gonna do the least favorite as a compliment and a dig. Garrett's kicking me off to the side. He thinks it's gonna be him, but it's not. I'm gonna say on certain days it's gonna be Isaac, and this is not because we don't train well together, we love each other. But when I'm doing hills with him, that puts me in the dirt. And I don't appreciate it, especially early fall training. Favorite teammate to train with? I'm gonna have to give the shout out to Josh just because he's been pushing me and making me better, and we do some crazy workouts. But all the guys I appreciate training with, and they all push me on different days.
Any closing remarks here?
I'm either gonna be a billionaire by tomorrow or broke.
Let's do it. I'm ready to be roasted.
Hopefully it's not too bad, but let's start with this. What was it like placing on the podium at USA's in a year where there was no Olympics or Worlds?
I feel like the question here is actually the last bit of that, but I'm only gonna focus on the first bit. Amazing. And then you can put yourself in my shoes when you realize the second bit.
This is not a question, but man, I want to see Isaac flex his thigh and calves.
I would like to see myself do that too, but I haven't figured out how to coordinate those muscles yet.
Do you ever breathe with your mouth?
Just for Spencer's videos, the Athlete Special, I only breathe through my nose.
Are we going to see the Naruto finish again, and will you enter Sage Mode to win your next race?
I've thought about that. I don't know. I haven't practiced the Naruto stillness training enough to probably go Sage Mode, but maybe I can get some Rinnegan activation.
What is your favorite Magic the Gathering block/set if you play that?
I love Magic the Gathering. I cannot answer that question. Fun fact, I used to be a highly competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player, and I was playing at the semi-national level, and eventually this deck that took me probably close to 6 years to build was stolen, and when that happened I upended everything. And so I don't know anything about card games anymore except that I love the art.
Isaac might be the most wholesome man out there. We need more Yorks content.
You know, honestly, my wife would agree.
Since you played Dungeons and Dragons, have you played Super Smash Bros. And what character would you play the most as?
Oh, dude, I mess with some Super Smash Brothers. Probably Marth, but I think like every edgelord goes with him.
Do you prefer when a race starts off slow, sometimes pedestrian pace for the first 8 to 1200 meters?
I would prefer fast, always, yeah. Unless I'm not fit. Then slow, that's great.
Isaac, may I have a bite of your hair?
A bite of my hair. Like, not like a cut a lock off and then you can have a bite of it, like you just want to bite it off my head. I'll get back to you on that.
Finally, Isaac, if you weren't a pro runner, what career or field would you pursue or would you want to pursue before running?
Man, I love creating, so I have all sorts of projects, but my main one is writing. I've been reading books since before I can remember, and a dream of mine is to write epic fantasy novels.
Well, folks, this is Isaac Yorks. Any last remarks?
Be better.
We got Garrett on here now. Highly requested beast. Alright, the first one's a loaded question. So, how did it feel beating Mo Farah in cross country but not being able to make an Olympic team for track? / should cross country be an Olympic event? If yes, should it be the Summer or the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was disappointing that year, beating Mo and not making the Olympics. I mean, that was pretty much how I wanted that year to start, and kind of was a little bit unexpected, you know. I mean, you've got to go into a race kind of assuming you can beat anyone who's there. So, you know, my expectations maybe weren't to beat Mo, but in the back of my mind, that's what I was gunning for. And, you know, I mean, I guess that's how he probably goes into just about every race, is with a target on his back. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of momentum that year. That was honestly, you know, probably some of the best fitness I've ever been in, that indoor and early outdoor season. And, you know, for whatever reason, you're always kind of riding that line of teetering either just being super fit and like running and hitting all your PBs and like having that breakthrough season, or pushing it just a hair too far and either breaking or kind of having the wheels come off a little bit. You know, I was just a little bit out of it by the time I got to the trials that year, which was pretty disappointing, honestly, and took me kind of a while to regroup mentally after that. You know, that's a risk you take when you're trying to kind of like go for it all and make a team. And, you know, especially in the US now, every Olympic cycle, it gets harder and harder to make a team. And if you're making that team, you basically need to be in a position to go potentially make the podium at the Olympics and get a medal.
Right.
Oh yeah, the second half. Sorry, I missed the most important part. I got distracted, reminiscing, thinking through it. Winter or Summer Olympics? Honestly, I think the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics is the ultimate place to be, because more and more you're seeing the Winter Olympics in a place that's not incredibly cold anyway. The venues are, you know, kind of range hundreds of miles at a time. Where different events are taking place. And I just think, you know, from racing at Edinburgh, you know, seeing the fans getting into it there, running on the course there, I might be a little biased, but you know, you get more elements in there in the winter. Cross country, things can be wildly different from one day to another, even on the exact same course. You know, so that Edinburgh course has had, when I've been on it, a few inches of water standing in different places, to being a super hard, cold, flat-packed course at times. And so you have to be prepared for a lot of different races. You have to be prepared for the hills. You have to be prepared for just different weather, wind. How do you run? Do you draft? Do you wait? Do you go early?
2 hours later.
And anyway, both are great, but bring cross country back. Sorry, you can cut.
No, that was better.
Stream that all out, whatever.
What was your middle school mile PR?
I ran 6:03 in 3rd grade. I remember that one. That was probably maybe, you know, still remains my best moment in all of track and field. I think I ran 4:21 as a 9th grader, 4:45 as an 8th grader.
What is it like being the Walmart version of Christian Bale?
Not a huge Walmart fan, but I do love Christian Bale. Yeah, I'll take it as a compliment. You know, like you can't be disappointed anytime you're compared to Batman.
What was it like growing up in the Stone Age?
Yeah, it was tough back then. You know, there wasn't Wi-Fi, there wasn't cell phones. Kids these days wouldn't survive in those conditions.
What do you plan on doing after running?
I don't know. Is there life after running? Yeah, I'm not sure. I like, you know, I've done a handful of like things on the side throughout my career, and you know, I always enjoyed being involved in like the startup world. My degree was kind of in entrepreneurial strategy stuff, and I think doing something in like the health wellness space that's, you know, kind of like also a startup is the dream, and so. Yeah, I've had an opportunity to do some of that, and you know, working a little bit with SOS hydration right now, and so yeah, I just love the fast-moving kind of pace of a new upcoming company and something that's a little bit unknown.
How much is Mo Farah paying you to avoid the marathon?
He sends a lump sum of Delta miles every year that I use to fly around. No payment. I need no payment to stay out of the marathon. I prefer to keep it that way.
What is your go-to meal at McDonald's?
The Egg McMuffin is the only meal at McDonald's as far as I'm concerned.
Finally, Garrett, thank you for being on here. What is the key to staying in such good shape for so long?
Consistency. Staying injury-free. That's it.
You heard it here first, folks. Garrett Heath. Alright guys, alright, we're live right now.
We're live?
We are live. What type of alcohol was trying to be hidden in your Flow Track New Mexico Track Shack video?
It wasn't hidden.
Which of the beasts has the highest body count?
3, 2, 1. I don't want to break this. I kind of prepped for this. I blew dry my hair for about 40 minutes prepping for this interview. So today I feel pretty confident.